found us a good spring over there, that there throttle plate mechanism, and the way you put that on there, that spring right there, and if you have one of these and your spring is missing or gone or adjusted incorrectly, it does have influence on how the governor operates. And if you can see, I'm not sure, maybe a fugal attempt, but it closes off almost 99.9%. Very few of them closes off 100%. But the way this thing goes on there is you just put it right there, and then you spiral it. You spiral, and these things right here, I'm seeing that they are available on the internet. I think you can buy them if you go up there on Harry's old engine website. The advertisers, there is a couple of advertisers that has these springs available for purchase, so they are available, and it is an important, it's a very important part. And just take your time, spiral that thing right around there, and once we get on here, we'll look just how important it is. This system has two springs on the flyweights, on the counterweight on the flywheel. Those two springs are only for that part of the governor. This spring here works in conjunction with that. Just take your time, patience. Okay, now we got that on there, and when you start putting it on there, keep in mind that that little eyelet right there goes to the back, and the little thing sticking out this way goes to the front. If you get it on there backwards, you just have to unspiral it. Now, if you look at this thing, it's got two adjustments, two holes in yonder. So if your spring is weak, you put it in this one, and if your spring is strong, you put it in the other one. I'm talking about that little thing right in the back end of that little crooked thing. I normally set these on the weak side, to be honest about it. And if need be, you can change that later. So anyways, I just let that go in that bottom hole. The hole down that way is the weak one, and then that little thing right there, the little round thing, goes up on yonder. And this is one off of an old junkyard engine, so you know it's not a new one. But you see, I want that to be out just a little bit. Don't want that to be in a bind or nothing. You know, straight line like that. Make sure that's in the back there where it don't come out. A couple of drops of oil right down in yonder, and a couple of drops of oil up there, and a couple of drops of oil back yonder. Sets it right. A reclaimed and if you go back to some of the earlier videos on this, you will see that this was a disappointment in the head that was on this engine, that this was broken off inside there. But the way it is, we put two together and made a good one. Now with that, and I'm going to show you something. Maybe you can't see it, but that little loop in yonder is wanting to come out of that hole. Okay, what it is, it's at an angle, so I need to bend that. Might as well just do it right here. And you put these up in here like this right here. Get a hold of that and bend it ever so lightly and put it back in that hole. Okay, now, oh yeah, we're good to go there now. Let's put the valves in here. And spark plug, it's a 7/8 straight thread. 7/8 18 straight. And they do mark the, well, it's let me read it to you on there. 7/8 18 UNS is the destination on that spark plug tap. And most of them are marked SP. meaning for the spark plug. And this M does use a spark. It's a straight thread, no taper, and it does use a spark plug with a gasket on there. And I just ran that in here, so we're good to go there. And as you can see, when you put that spark plug in there, it's a real nice open chamber there where the spark plug's at. Now that index and that spark plug is that's a personal thing right there. If you want to index that spark plug, you know what I mean. Some people say it's a good thing. Some people say it's a futile attempt at nothing. But now we want to protect this at all costs. And we'll talk about this some more. We'll talk about this some more when we get over on the engine. But I did kind of straighten that back with a hammer, and that goes right there. The crooked part goes to the top, and that goes there with that washer and the cotter pin. It goes right here. So we'll talk about that when we get over yonder. Not to be fooling around, now that we got this thing in here, let's put them valves in there. And this is them valves we made the other day there. And if you want to see making these valves, just some videos backwards, I mean, there's a bunch of them on here too. Just go back in the playlist there and see how I made these valves. But knock these two out for this engine, and got them guides in there. And let's put that valve in there, and oh yeah, that's a nice one. And I did find these little things right here. I don't know what them's out of. I think them's out of an air compressor or something. Have no idea. Just something that I took apart one time, and I think, so, you know, throw them in the pile right there. They might be good for something. And as I was putting this engine together right here, and this, you will find this, some of them will be really, really bad. The little blocks right there where that spring fits on, they wear away through the years where that vibrates. And I found out that and I do make these right here. If they're bad, just turn these on the lathe, but these happens to be as found, and it's the exact size for that. It trues that up right there, centers it up. You know, just if it works, use it. And the related parts there, and I am using new springs here that I laid in a few years ago there when I had the funds, laid them springs in, and you know, for waiting on hard times, and put that right around there. Just that down there, watching down in that where that right there's one of them. I get us one of them that ain't plated over. I'm not gonna put that in there till I get the right one. Just a oh, that's really nice. Now the exhaust valve, the same story. And I did on this one right here. It's probably, you know what, I probably should put the dial indicator on here, but I'm not going to. But now what I'm doing is holding the end of this valve and the end of the backup back here with the two fingers right here, and take it off the seat and then move it backwards and forwards right there. And I would venture to say that will be about 1/1000th, 1/2 to 1/1000th, without getting the dial indicator out of here, because it does move, but that's all. It's no play there. Anyways, they're the right length and everything. And I got that little thing in that spring down right there to level up that seat down in there. And you can put these in the milling machine over there and run a cutter around through there and true them up that way also. But to put these springs on here, you put that right on there, and this is the cast iron top right here. And the very first, very early engines had two of the same type valves. Two of these cast irons, they didn't have this type. So you will encounter that on a very old engine. But just push all of that down right there and put that pin across through there and let it catch inside that little thing right there, and it can't never come out. Oh yeah, we got them valves in there now. And there's nothing else left to do with this head except install it. So with that said, let's do it. Let's get on that engine. The question about oiling valve stems, and now I take credit that occasionally, way back under some years ago when I first started to doing head work, I actually was guilty of too tight of valve stems. They do need some play in there. You can't err on a valve stem being too tight. So we got that on there, everything is good to go here. We put that on there, and I was rummaging around in the parts bin over yonder, and I came up on this. I didn't think I had one of these that was not already been through the electrolysis tank. This is the last one of these I got that's clean, that's original patina, and it does have the green paint in yonder, green paint there, green paint there, green paint there, green paint in yonder, confirming that it's all international. They are, I'll show you something. If I'm not mistaken, let's break this down really quick. No, the only thing that I don't, well, maybe let's see. Oh, this is better than I thought it was. It's a very good one. And I laid it aside for something, and evidently this is what it was. But it does have a good spring in there, the correct one. And this the way that works, and that's a good opening down there. This ought to be a really good check valve. And I did put a new leather on there, rivet, and that's a little cast iron thing. And you can make these. That's a part you can make on the lathe and the milling machine. So all that I need here is a gasket, and then we will, next time you see it, it'll be on the engine. And like I say, that spring, the tension on that spring right there is only enough to hold it closed. Any more tension than that, and that let's call it a primitive PVC system. It's primitive at best. But any more tension than that, and it defeats the way that works on this engine here in particular. With that said, let's get over to the engine.